Oh my gosh. Okay, this is gonna be a good night. All right. So we're just gonna like do like the classic, like basic influencer intro, even if no one's on yet. But hello everybody. Welcome to the second ever Colorway Wednesday, not fourth, second, it's on one hand. Um, but today we are joined by a very special guest who I will let introduce herself. Take it away,
Hello.
Kara.
My name is Elizabeth Frisk. I typically go by Ellie, but just because I feel special and just because how it was spelled when I was doing school abroad, I spell it as Eli usually. So Ellie, Eli, however you want to pronounce it. And I'm your Miss Sooner State Collegiate America. That's going to be ready to compete just in a few months now.
You know that's right. You know that's right. All
Hmm.
right. So I'm making it like a little tradition where at the beginning of each of these, I'm going to ask people whenever I have like collaborators and whatnot, what they're coloring with. So tell us what you're coloring with.
Ooh, like the actual like color material? Okay. So yesterday I realized I had not had a single like actual tool to color with other than oil paint, which I learned is really hard to clean off the hard way and takes forever to dry the hard way. But I stopped by Family Dollar today and I got Crayola 12-pack classic pencils.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for all these warm tones here. I think that's the direction I'm going to go for my flowers, just because when I start my garden, that's all the flowers. They're all reds and oranges, and that.
Real, real. That's super exciting. I also have colored pencils today. I have my behemoth of a little tote. These are my fine touch colored pencils from Hobby Lobby from like middle school when I first went, I want to draw more. Um, so that was my way of being pretentious as a kid. Um, but for those of you following along at home, today we are going to be coloring this cute little sheet. It is a Georgia O'Keeffe drawing, or not drawing, painting made into a coloring sheet template. If you don't know, Georgia O'Keeffe is a very well-known painter who essentially just painted a bunch of really, really pretty flowers. She was actually like my origin to figuring out why I like really love flowers and stuff like that, which I thought really suited well because as you've heard, our lovely guest likes flowers and gardening. So I thought it'd be a really fun time to break that out. Um, but with that being said, I would say we can go ahead and get started coloring and yapping.
So excited. These are
Yes.
freshly sharpened out of the box.
That is good. I don't have a pencil sharpener, and some of these are like dull. Like, look at that. Let me do
Oh
the
goodness.
inverse.
She's there. Barely, but she's there.
Yeah, that magenta's been through it. But okay. So, as we get started, we're just going to go ahead and get to know you a little bit better, right? So, tell me a little bit about your relationship with like art and creative outlets and like what you do within that realm, if that makes any sense.
Ooh. I'll take it like way back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it way back. So I will say, as a child, I was very much into science. I competed in Science Olympiad. I did entomology. I was state winner multiple years in a row for entomology. Just saying, ask me to identify a butterfly now, though, I'm helpless, but that's okay. But it was around middle school I decided to really explore my interest in music. So I played the viola for a couple years until I moved to Panama in the eighth grade. So they didn't have a music program over there the same way they did here. My viola is still somewhere in Panama. Probably got a little mildew on her, if we're going to be honest. She has not been receiving any TLC. But I did still love just the feeling that you get when it comes to music and movement, and marching bands are a huge deal in Panama, right? Every school has a marching band, and like we go on parades in the streets, especially during the patriotic month of November. So that was my month. I loved it. But instead of carrying a big old heavy instrument throughout, I decided to be a baton girl instead and just do my very stiff dance movements. But I think when it comes to art, it really can be translated in so many methods other than drawing, painting, music, of course. And I really think food isn't art. I studied culinary arts actually. And now I'm getting more into gardening, as I previously mentioned too. And there's definitely, in my own eyes, a art to understanding how our food grows and how you can really combine and make companion plants to grow a just abundant food forest that's just vibrant and lively and brings so much to the ecosystem too. But I think that's just kind of like how I feel about art. Like anything can be art, but I especially love it in the form of music and food.
That is very valid. Speaking of food, do you want to go ahead and plug a super cool series you have on your Instagram?
You think it's cool?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm starting a series on my personal title holder page, Collegiate, and it is really it's called Meal Prep Mondays. So my overall purpose when it comes to my platform, Cooking for Tomorrow, is to cook or is to break food down to its basics. So chefs from any level, no matter what resource you have available, can really understand one, where our food comes from, how we can use it. And especially as a college student right now who is self-funded in both school, living expenses, and pageants, um, also how to be a little bit more cost effective too with our meals. And what I kept in consideration when it comes to planning this series too is really like the national average um, that it costs for groceries. I think for a singular person, it was $50 to $60 will be considered like a median for 1 week, right? And when it comes to college students, about 70% of us have at least one roommate. I do. So we are planning our menu on how we can keep that food at or below that average and to really make something sustaining with, you know, your roommate, your partner, whoever you are living with too, because it's such a unifying way, food cooking, to really get to connect and work with others in my eyes. My first menu that I'm presenting right now, I've actually did $45 for a week's worth of groceries and Mexican inspired meals for 3 adults, which was way blown out the park from what I expected to do initially. But I do try to keep in consideration that expenses will vary depending on the grocery stores that you can access or the state that you live in. I do want to explore more when it comes to options with food deserts as well, but Meal Prep Mondays is just kind of the start of breaking food down to its basics and making it a little bit more budget friendly for ourselves.
So cool. I love that. I love that. Highly recommend checking it out if you haven't. Um, I'm trying to figure out like follow-up questions. I'm new to this whole host thing. Uh,
It takes a minute, trust me.
yeah, I can imagine. Um, oh goodness. Wow, I can't read my notes anymore. Um, in your like spiel about how Meal Prep Mondays works, you mentioned the fact that you do pageants and pageantry. Obviously, that's one of the reasons you're here is because we met through pageantry.
Yeah.
Yeah, yay. But I was wanting to know a little bit about like how you picked your pageant system, like what drew you to it, and like just a little bit about actually like the Collegiate America pageant system. I don't know a ton about it. I've looked it up essentially just to find out when and where your nationals is. That's pretty much it.
So when it comes to Miss Collegiate, I actually began pageants a little bit later than a lot of ladies who began competing, right? So I began right when I turned 18. This was back in January 2020. I was still living in Panama at the time, and I won a local title there, but then the pandemic hit. So naturally, that went out the door. Whoops. I was offered an opportunity to represent the United States. I do have dual citizenship to represent the United States in a teen pageant. So while I was back in Oklahoma looking at potential sponsors, I naturally ran into Crowning Around in Lawton, Oklahoma. And Cynthia, is really a big reason why I took the path I did in pageantry. After my last system, I did take a little break from competing, but from the very beginning, she highlighted how really spectacular, how the production is just over the top, and how many opportunities the prize package can offer, both for the winners and even for the other contestants that are still winning scholarship opportunities on stage. And it just always piqued my interest. I love working behind the scenes as much as I love being, on stage in pageants. So while I was hosting on Beauty Queens Galore, I've always just stalked Miss Collegiate America. It's just always been there, and I couldn't really fully retire from pageants without giving it at least one shot, just because something about it was always so magnetic to me. So I wanted to give it this one shot. I'm in my last semester right now for business management, finally. And it's been just incredible seeing how many opportunities, again, it brings to their title holders, how well they're taken care of. And after meeting multiple of their national title holders too, and hearing how positively they speak of the overall experience, really you lose more not giving something a shot than giving something a shot and maybe not having the outcome you would have anticipated or asked for, right? So that's what really kind of drew me into Miss Collegiate.
That's good. I didn't know like half of that. I love your lore. That's incredible.
I got so much lore, girl. I'm trying to
Yeah,
condense it today too, because I can, yeah.
real, real. That's why we get along though. We're
Yeah.
just yappers. Um, all right. To piggyback off that, I know a little bit about your work with Beauty Queens Galore. Do you want to like expound upon that? I know that's something that you genuinely put a lot of work and effort into. So I'd love to highlight that a bit as well.
I love Beauty Queens Galore. It was founded by Kennedy. She is the most fabulous queen out there, based in Georgia, and actually has her own boutique name of the same name too, in I believe Lafayette, Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, called Beauty Queens Galore. And really,
Hmm.
the entire purpose of the online platform is to celebrate positive pageantry and highlighting industry experts, title holders, coaches, just really being able to help expand the voices of others within this industry and help create connections. Most importantly, I've had some really awesome opportunities being a host for an interview. So I understand, like, especially the first couple of times when you're hosting, it's kind of like, oh, what do I do next? It's a learning curve for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I've had the opportunity to speak with former Miss Universe title holders, with Miss World contestants as well. I believe next weekend I'm going to be having an interview with, I'm going to keep it a little surprise, so make sure you follow Beauty Queens Galore. But I'm going to be interviewing a incredible diva of a coach, which I cannot wait for and to pick their brain about. They are a major walking coach that teaches really a lot of queens that I love going to Miss Grand. So a lot of flair, a lot of fun, but that's just Beauty Queens Galore. At the end of the day, we are a platform of positive pageantry that we want to just really promote others within the industry to, again, highlight transparency, give everyone a more equal opportunity and playing ground when it comes to competing, because there is so much to learn as you begin as a competitor. I like, even after taking a break, after giving up my last title till now, I'm still relearning how to do my makeup and do my eyebrows properly for stage, and how to dress in a way that's more flattering for myself and certain appearances. So it's a great resource that I'm really grateful to be proud of. And most excitedly, we have been expanding this past year, and we actually worked behind the scenes for Miss Grand USA for the weekend. And I've been on cloud nine ever since, seeing how they treat the girls, how the pageant was ran. And again, being behind the scenes to me can be just as, if not more, fun than being on stage.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I know from like a theater perspective, as someone who like has worked in many different shows, it is very like there's something special about the buzz you get when you're working backstage
Yeah.
rather than just like on stage because you're not as stressed the entire time. At
Yeah.
least in
It's
my
a different type of
experience.
stress and pressure.
Yeah. for sure. So I can see like why that would just be like kind of a breath of fresh air. Even if you love competing, it's still like, oh, cool. I don't have to worry about going out there and like making sure my heels are on correctly and that they're not gonna like my feet aren't gonna slip down and give me insane blisters, stuff like that.
Oh goodness. During working behind the scenes at Miss Grand USA, yes, our goal and intention there was to help do just extra media to help again continue promotion, get the girls involved, and make sure there is as much or more engagement than there was the previous year.
Mhm.
But when it came to, for example, the preliminaries or finals, our ladies need help getting dressed. We all know, all of our competitors know the stress of trying to get up a zipper on your own, trying to get a heel when you can't bend over. And let me tell you what, and let me tell everybody here too, if you can avoid a corset during competition, please, for the love of God, do that. I did work in like my mom's dress boutique growing up, so I have like a little experience feeding a corset and getting them tightened. But when you're doing back to back and you have like 5 minutes from off stage, get everybody rounded up and back on stage again, I had my knee to ladies' back so I can tighten the corset how they want and then jamming on their shoes. It's a thrill.
It keeps you on your toes for sure.
Goodness,
Goodness
yes.
gracious. All right. I'm trying to like give you some time where you don't have to like keep talking so then you can actually color fully. Um, let's see. Ooh. This is a more fun question or more fun question. All the questions have been fun.
They're all
This is a more broad question
okay.
that's like if you're a 7-year old in an interview, you're going to be hyped for this one. What's your favorite color and why?
Oh my goodness. I like red a lot. Red has been the one I've been leaning towards the most as of recent, whenever like it comes to wardrobe, my garden. Um, Mostly those two. Those are the biggest things in my life I have color in, I guess. But I have to say red. I love any warm tones, really. So I usually bounce between yellow, orange, and red. But I think right now, especially because we're about to have a winter Armageddon here in Oklahoma, red just tells me, ooh, warm, comfort. We're staying away from the chills. So I have to say red.
Real. I love that. That makes sense. You're such a red girly in like the
Thank
best way
you.
possible.
I love red.
I feel like oftentimes people tend to gravitate towards the colors that they like feel most confident in wearing. Like that's just what their favorite colors
Yeah,
are. Which
I
makes
love
sense.
wearing red.
Yeah, exactly. Um, because yeah, I tend to stay away from like harsh quote unquote tones.
Hmm.
So I tend to wear like pastel pink and blue and purple, as I am sure you've noticed in my wardrobe already. Uh,
I've noticed. I took
I
a
know what I
gander
like.
too.
Yeah, but goodness, yeah, that's so fun. This is another fun question that's like not on my paper, but um, what's your favorite flower and why?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's actually a heavy question for me. You put me on
Right?
the spot now. Um, okay, so I think right now I'm gonna say butterfly weed because if people who aren't familiar with it, there are like these tiny, maybe 4 or 5 little petal flowers, but when I say tiny, they are itty bitty, probably smaller than the face of a dime. And then they grow in clusters pretty much that they look like pom poms or cotton candy almost on the bush, which has just beautiful green foliage on top of that. So it just reads off as a gorgeous, vibrant flower. Pollinators loved it in my garden last year. It almost kind of grew like a bush, so I would not recommend planting it in a vertical grow tower. Learned that the hard way. She has been removed. But I am growing some from seed right now. So if you see an ominous purple glow by my feet, that's my seed trays right now. But What I also love about butterfly weed is that I'm not sure their name in Spanish, but they remind me of these flowers I grew up seeing in Panama, where again, they have these tiny, tiny little petals and they grew in these clusters that just looked like pom-poms almost on bushes. So they're just vibrant. They remind me of both of my homes. And my pollinators love it, which means my garden loves it too because they give me more food afterwards.
And that makes sense. Might as well do
Yeah.
something practical when you can, right?
I always think with my belly, I can tell you that much.
Real, real. That's one of the fun things too, is like since you've studied the culinary arts, I think it's pretty safe to say that you and I have very different training into very different forms of art.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people don't think about the fact come food in and of itself is so many different facets
Hmm.
because there's the science behind cooking, but there's also like there's very different science behind cooking than there is baking, at least in my
Oh,
experience.
yes, there is.
Yeah. There's a reason there's two terms. Um, but along with that, I'm trying to remember where I was going with this. I woke up at like 6 a.m. today, so you'll have to forgive me.
No, I get it. I don't get productive at work until maybe noon, and at that point, I have 4 hours left in the day.
Real. Um, but so with our very different backgrounds, like, oh, I remember because I was talking about how come sometimes like people don't consider the like artistry behind food.
Hmm.
But there's like the most obvious thing I can think of is the plating. I know whenever you go to quote unquote like fancy restaurants, they have garnishes and very fancy plating. Whenever I watch the Great British Bake Off, and they'll be like, "Oh, we're making a I can't remember a beef Wellington," and they're always like, "Oh yes, I got to make sure my plating's perfect and the Paul likes it." Um, Great British Bake Off is posted by Paul Hollywood, if you don't know. But so whenever you think about like, I have a question for you now. Let me warn you before I keep talking. But whenever you think about like the artistry that goes behind it, like what does that mean to you? What's the first thing that makes you feel like, yes, this is my way of letting loose and creating something amazing?
It really goes down to sourcing the products you're going to be using in your dish to me. Like, of course, again, I've said it 10,000 times. I love to garden. I love to get a deeper understanding on where our food comes from because I've been so surprised in this past year alone. I'm not sure if anyone's ever seen like how a cucumber grows, but I grew an Armenian cucumber this past year, and it just grows on a big old vine, right? You need to give it support, or it'll just crawl on the floor, and it will produce fruit almost like 36 inches, almost three, or maybe it's too much, but at least 30 inches in length. Like they get humongous. So but when it comes to sourcing, is also showing appreciation to a degree on where your food is coming from. So, of course, if you come from a coastal area, I love sourcing seafood. You get fresher flavors, you get maybe a more unique variety you wouldn't realize is caught off the coast of New York or wherever you are. You get some red vibrant shrimps, but sourcing the food is where I think the creativity starts because that's going to be your base. It's going to influence the flavors you introduce to your dish. It's going to affect how you want to plate it, of course. Um, Plating is my least favorite portion of cooking. I've done a couple cooking competitions before. It's not my favorite at all, but I think there is such a art when it comes to gathering your ingredients, sourcing everything, and finding flavors that do pair and complement each other. Or if you are a little crazy, just finding things that may never in a million years work with each other, but somehow end up working with each other. I can't think of an idea off the top of my head other than just like chopped baskets, right? Have you ever watched a cooking show, Chopped? Yeah.
Oh
They'll
yeah,
give you like a kumquat, a duck, a blackened century egg, and like they'll give you some of the most absurd ingredients. But
I would cry.
yeah, no, I would never go on Chopped. I would know I'd immediately cry after the first basket. That's too much for me.
Real.
But I I would have to say sourcing is where like it really begins for me when it comes to creating a dish or just whatever I'm craving that day.
Real.
Or a
I'd
hot pocket
honestly
that way.
never, I'd never considered like how much work goes into sourcing because like I'm a full-time college student, right? And like all of my classes are in person and I have rehearsals all the time.
We
So
just
I'm
know where to
like,
source the ramen noodles in the grocery store.
yeah, I'm like, I source from the Walmart that's very close by.
Hunter
But
gatherer
like,
of you.
yeah, because you have to get creative in finding like good ingredients. Like I know that Oklahoma City has some really good Hispanic marketplaces
Hmm.
that have the best cheese ever known to man. Um, it's just my professional opinion. I quite like the cheese there. Um,
I'm going to do a subtle lore drop. I actually was once on a commercial for Supermercado Morelos, which
uh-huh.
is, of course, the best Latino grocery store chain here in Oklahoma. And I got paid $50 just to, like eat tacos and drink some jarritos that day. And it was hands down the best job I've ever had.
That's incredible. Can they just hire you full time?
I've asked, and I'm waiting for a call back that works with my school schedule and my work schedule.
Yeah. Have
They'll,
your people reach out to my people. That sounds
I'll
great.
let them know. I'll let them know I'm going to be representative now.
That's
What's your top
incredible.
two?
Ah, my only like I've had one slightly similar experience, and that's when I was like 6, I think. My sister and I were in a commercial for the OKC Thunder.
Okay. Big
Uh-huh.
deal over here.
Yeah. I don't think we were paid or anything. And if we were, I didn't see a lick of that money. Um,
Gotta hunt down your parents for that. Help with the
it's
college
okay.
fund.
My parents have definitely paid that back by now, if that's the case.
Okay,
They
fair
pay my
enough.
medical bills. We're good.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, they're good. They're cool.
Yeah.
Thanks,
They're
TJ, Tom
very
Sawyer.
real. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like, because genuinely, like, I took a class my freshman year of college. It was Comp 2, and it was an honors class. And so the way honors classes work at my university is that they're very like, oh, hey, here's the special focus of this one. Like, rather
Okay.
than just being like, oh, we're going to learn about English, there's a special focus, and then you happen to write papers. And so ours was over like, I can't even remember what like the tag like was of the class, but it was about food and like ethically sourcing food and
Hmm.
like also just finding research on ancient food. I remember I was looking on a website that just was filled with old corn starters. Um,
Hmm.
didn't know, but like I believe it was the Aztecs used to have purple corn. That's cool as heck. Why don't we have that now?
We do actually, or maybe blue corn is what I'm thinking of, but
Hmm.
shameless plug, go to Supermercado Morelos and you can get yourself a bag of blue corn flour there. I will say, I, for some reason, told myself it was going to be this magical ingredient that's going to make it like super tender for my tortillas or like super flavorful or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So it's just corn. It's just, it's just grounded up corn. Other
Yeah,
than color, I don't notice anything too special.
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I just think it's so interesting that like we had that pipeline that led to us
Hmm.
mainly having yellow corn available like widely, at least in the United States. Um, and that's so cool. I love stuff like that. But it's really cool to hear someone else talk about it because I know we talked about this book called High on the Hog, I think. And I can't even remember what it was about because lore drop, I had a concussion that semester, so I don't really remember a lot of it. Um,
No.
so,
College really flew
but
by for you.
I thought it was so cool. I remember I also did a presentation over cocoa, like cocoa pods and stuff like that. I don't remember a lick of it. I just remember that I did it. Um,
My final presentation in high school, my English class was all about butter versus margarine. Uh, So trust me, I love food presentations.
Ugh, that's so real. I remember my high school English class, our final was we had to write an autobiography about
Oh,
ourselves. And like don't like we had like a full structure and everything. It was like, okay, chapter one's gonna be this, chapter two's gonna be that, to like make sure all of us were putting in roughly the same amount of effort.
yeah.
And dude, I cornered myself so bad because I always like to do things like projects and stuff like that so extra. Surprising, I know. Um, I decided to make every single chapter a pun that included my name. Every single chapter. And I can't think of all of them off the top of my head. And I can't even think of the name, but I'm pretty sure one of them was Joy Meets World.
That's a good one. That's a good
Hmm.
one.
I think that was like the
That's
first
a good
chapter being
show.
like, I was born. Haha. Still haven't even seen Boy Meets World. I only watched Girl Meets World, but shout out Sabrina Carpenter if you're watching. I know you are.
You
That'd
know
be
she's
crazy.
watching us. She's literally obsessed with us.
She loves us so much. Oh my gosh. She actually writes all of her songs about us, and it's kind of
Yeah.
odd, but that's
Yeah, she's
okay.
so obsessed.
Incredible. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I was always the kid that would like go over the top with any and all school projects. So like I was telling someone recently about a time that we were told with a project, it was like, oh, you can either make a presentation poster or a children's book. And I was the only one who made the children's book. But boy, was I proud of it.
I was just a huge teacher's pet back in like elementary, middle school. Admittedly, in high school, I started slacking a little bit. But when the science fair came around, I gave it my all.
Darn right, darn
But
right.
I always loved specifically doing science presentations growing up, just because I felt that I was given the most liberty to do
Mm-hmm.
whatever I pleased. I was in this one program called Peak back in like elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, we were doing a project specifically about our insects that we can find in our ecosystem. And we just had to do a presentation about them. We had to catch them and then kind of I don't know if taxidermy is the right word, but you put them on pins and just you present them, right?
Oh,
So
uh-huh.
I was geeking out about that at the time. Remember, I was competing at in entomology for Science Olympiad, which is the study of insects for anyone who may not be familiar. And I ended up doing the theme of like the actual pins and presentation based off like Thunder basketball. So I made like a little cardboard stadium. I remember, oh my gosh, something I haven't thought about in a long time. And each chair had its own bug, labeled accordingly. And I had the praying mantis as the one shooting on the court. I did really good in that grade, just to say.
I would hope so. You got so creative with that. What on earth?
I
That's
had the time of my
incredible.
life.
You
Elementary
should.
school, that was my time.
Real, real. The amount of arts and crafts. I was homeschooled in elementary school, fun fact.
Oh.
Um, and so genuinely, I kid you not, most of my schooling, not most of my schooling, my mom did give me actual education. Um, but like most of the schooling that I liked was literally just arts and crafts. And then I would get done with my school arts and crafts and then do non-school arts and crafts. So I get you. Elementary was pretty cool. It's less scary, way less
It was a
scary.
lot less intimidating, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so funny that Thunder basketball has come up twice in this conversation. Did not expect that to happen.
Just like our team. They always make a comeback. What can we say?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
We won the
I'm
championship.
so true. So true. I watched like half of it while I was playing Animal Crossing. Are you big into sports? I don't even know.
I'm really not.
Fair.
I was a very unathletic child growing up. Even though I know my father's favorite son, I could never just like understand football. Um, and my mother is Hispanic, so she liked the other type of football, which I don't find amusement in on a professional league because I felt that so many players just kind of, flop, right?
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot going on there, but I think in these past couple years, basketball has just really enticed me for whatever reason. I felt like the rules, they were like comprehensive, they were relatively easy to understand, follow along. It was easy for me to identify the individual players too, because the cameras are close enough to them and they're like 10 feet tall. So I've
Yeah.
really been loving basketball. So every time, if you ever follow me on my personal account and you see my stories, I like every time we have a game, I'll have a meme up there celebrating our win or mourning our loss, which doesn't happen often. But if I
Anymore.
am gonna do any type or like watch any type of sport, basketball is the one that gets me hooting and hollering over here.
That's real. That's real. I grew up in a very basketball centric home. Um, Not my dad. No, no, no. My mom is like
Okay.
super into it. Like
Okay.
I remember as a kid there would be multiple times whenever I would like get put to bed, but my bedroom was like right by the living room.
Oh
And so I would
no.
just come out and be like, "Mom, I can't sleep. You're being too loud." And she'd be like, "All right, go back to bed." And then she would be pretty quiet for the next bit, and then it would be in the fourth quarter and it's super close, and then she would start freaking out again. Um, which she's so real for that. She's so
I
real
get
for
it.
that.
I do. I understand.
Yeah.
My cats
I
freak out whenever like it gets close on a game. Trust.
real. Yeah, no, I personally am not huge into sports, mainly just because I did cheer in high school. Um, so I watched so many basketball and football games because we would cheer for both the boys team and the girls basketball team.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
so I watched a lot of basketball in high school, and I'm still recovering emotionally because I'm really brave and really strong for something that I forced myself into.
So brave.
Thank you.
Which is part of
That's
our
my mom.
national platform at Miss High School America organization, by the way, bringing respect and values for everyone. Just gonna throw that out
Yes.
there.
Ah, incredible. All right. Let's see. Man, I need to make a longer list of questions, evidently. Oh my gosh, we have two whole people watching. Hello, two whole people.
Hi, divas.
Yes.
Drop
Oh,
your questions below.
literally. Oh my gosh, can we get a question in the chat?
Hey, chat.
Oh my gosh. I was talking to some of my classmates the other day about just like pageant stuff in general. And one of my friends, I kid you not, looked me dead in the eyes and said, during those interviews, do you ever like accidentally refer to them as chat?
Do you?
No,
Okay, just wanted to double check for personal reasons.
we're gonna get that out of you right now.
We'll get that out real quick.
As soon as we finish this live stream, I get a FaceTime message from you, and I'm like, oh,
I'm like, so, interesting call we had today. Didn't realize you referred to them as chat.
it'd be memorable.
It
It'd be
would. It
memorable.
would.
I don't even say chat that often, but
I
you
can just
know, we just
imagine someone walking into an interview room, and be like, "Good morning, chat," and then I don't know, just lock in right after and say, good morning, chat. My name is Miss Sooner State, or my name is Elizabeth Frisk, and you're Miss Sooner State Collegiate. I'm so excited to talk to you today." The locking afterwards would be crazy.
that'd be incredible. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that. I'm kind of obsessed with that. I won't use it, I promise.
I
But I do kind of like it though.
can vibe with it.
You know what? I think I'm smelling what you're stepping in. That's pretty
Yeah, are
good.
you?
Let's see. We have a wave in the chat.
I can wait back.
Oh
I will
yeah.
say, whenever I do interviews as well on the BQG, wow. Ooh, that was a tongue twister for me there. I didn't know if I was going to make it through.
It's one of those days. It's fine.
Of course, we always say as well, like, if you got any questions, please drop them down. And
Hmm.
anytime like we got like waves or like, you ladies look amazing, you ladies sound great, like, or compliments, I'm like, do I say anything? Do What do I do about that?
It's like I don't want to ignore you, but also what do I say?
Yeah, because again, like just like the whole like chat conversation, right? Imagine like we're actually live streaming. I just feel like if I break away from the interview, be like, thank you, Ellie Frisk, for saying that we sound amazing today. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time. Like I just
You see, and that's why we're not live streaming on Twitch
no,
or
no, we're
on
not.
TikTok. Thank you guys for the roses.
Thank you guys. Let's get some galaxies into chat now.
Galaxy,
Goodness.
it's incredible.
Like it's just one of those fun things sometimes when you do like when you start getting an audience and you're doing live interviews and it's like live conversation happening. I'm just like, what do I do? I know I've been doing this for like 3-4 years now,
Hmm.
but no one really told me the expectations on that, and I this point I'm too scared to ask.
You're like, I feel like I'm too late in the game, and like
I'm in too deep. I just can't ask anymore. I just nod and smile. Call it a
smile and
great
wave, boys.
time.
Smile and wave.
Long way, boys.
That's so funny. That does remind me, though, I have another question I can ask you about.
What's that?
Uh, I know that you have a like coaching platform and everything now, and that you're doing pageant
Oh,
coaching. Do you want to talk about like what prompted you to doing that and like where your passion lies within that?
yeah. So I did like coaching pretty casually whenever I moved back to Oklahoma from Panama. I want to say around 2021. Um, some of my mom's old friends had a friend and said, "Hey, they're looking for someone to teach a class this week. We know you do the whole pageant thing. Can you just like hop in?" I'm like, sure, I can do that. I've never taught anyone in my life before.
Mhm.
And I'm still kind of figuring out how to walk myself, but $50 is $50. So I did it.
True.
And it became a regular thing for probably like the next couple years. Once a month, I'll come in. I'll teach a few different groups of different ages. So we're starting as young as I want to say 4 years old, and then for our big kids, they were probably on the oldest side, like 25, 26, but really it was open to all ages. Um, and as I got back into school, specifically for the degree I'm in right now, business management, I did step away from that a little bit just so I can have a little bit more flexibility to dedicate to school. And I would still be approached by girls I would meet just casually at appearances or events I'm at, or they were referred to by a friend of a friend because they need some last minute help to get ready for their pageant, or because they want to get some type of like base because they want to get into modeling and they didn't have any experience prior. So it was just little references here and there. And I didn't really take it too, I guess, serious. I didn't put too much intention into it for the longest time. But this past year, in full transparency, now that I was approaching a higher level education that was more costly, I did move out to be independent. So my personal expenses went up tremendously. Oh Lord, that was a fun awakening right there. And I really wanted to get back into pageantry. I wanted just another avenue to be able to support my pageant goals because I know us fellow pageant girlies understand that it is quite costly to get prepared. And for me, I know my experience probably lies a little bit better for beginners and girls who maybe just want to get a little extra practice in because there are incredible coaches out there that may be able to offer, more refined skills than what I potentially could at the moment. But we all got to start somewhere, right? So, my really biggest goal when it comes to coaching right now is just to start building some more relationships, be a little bit more intentional. I am working with some uh, organizations right now to help sponsor their girls when it comes to interview practice and image advising and just giving them general advice that I wish I had a lot sooner because there are a lot of little niche tips and tricks that no one really seems to want to share. But it's okay. I understand. We all got to learn somehow. But um, you can find me on Instagram. Really, that's it. As Ellie Frisk Pageant Consulting. I'm happy to answer any questions, give recommendations, or even just help you find a pageant organization that aligns with you, your goals, and what you're hoping to achieve. Because every organization is so unique. Of course, I think the Miss High School America organization is fabulous for everyone, but I know some girls understand or also see that this is uh, a bigger production. They might want to start somewhere a little bit more local to them just to get their feet wet before they go to the big league, right? Um, and also just trying to give them a heads up too on like what to avoid when it comes to competing. Because I'll tell you what, like my first, or I guess technically my second director that I ever had, like scammed us terribly. Swindled us actually. Made out like a bandit. And there were so many red flags between the director and the organization that I competed at as a teen, where I was like, okay, maybe if we had someone to guide us a little bit better and be like, hey, we understand you have the goal of competing and, getting that experience, but there are better, more secure, and more fair avenues to go where the treatment will be a lot better towards the competitors too. So that's really where I like to share my expertise. And when it comes to being a coach, I would be interested in potentially making this my full time career at some point because I will love the opportunity to really travel more, to support the girls I have the opportunity to work with, or really just not be in an office setting. As much as I love being a paralegal under aviation laws, cool, yeah, fun. Realistically, it wasn't the original career path I imagined for myself.
Mhm.
But the opportunity presented itself, and I really think my passion does lie more within pageantry and the opportunities that it can provide there.
Yeah. Fair enough. It's always really funny how like life just does not pan out the way you would expect it to.
Never. And I had it planned
Right.
out perfectly by middle school. So, man,
Should have
some
stuck
wrenches
to your
were thrown in
plan,
my
I guess.
plans. I know. Shame on me.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Hmm. I can't think of any other questions for now. For now. How's your coloring going along? There's a good question. Let's do a little progress check.
I got this much done.
Oh yeah.
I'm locking
That's
in.
so cute. Yes. I am almost done with mine. Probably because I've had more opportunity. Whoops. Whoops. And that's okay.
That's okay.
Let's see. What do you want to talk about? There we go. That's a good question. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, you know what? I want to gabber a little bit more regarding while we're here, just because I can, and you giving me the
Yeah.
mic. I've been growing from seed since last year. I was really intimidated by it, but I decided to be a big girl who wants to save a little bit more money. By a little bit, I mean a lot of it when it comes to growing my garden because you can get the individual plants at the nursery, and we're talking about maybe on the cheaper end, $4 a plant. And when you're growing a food forest like I want to do, that ends up costing you a couple $100, but depending on how many plants you get and what varieties.
Hmm.
Um, so I've really been having fun challenging myself in that sense to create, oh, knock that lid over while I'm at it,
Oh
to
no.
create the right conditions for these plants. Oh my goodness. Okay, fix. Oh, never mind. I just sacrificed a kohlrabi. Whoops. I'll say that for later. But really learning how to, again, see how our food grows from the very beginning because you'll look at lettuce, for example. You know how it has like that little nub at the end? Well, I can't wait to see how that ends up growing on my little lettuce seedlings over here because they're just a little string bean right now.
Oh
Just a little
yeah.
stem with a couple leaves, and they look like, and they all look the same right now too, which is just fascinating to me. Um, so yeah, no, and also part of my platform too is trying to teach people some scrappy cooking or just scrappy tricks to save again a little bit extra money around the house to push their skills a little bit more. So I've been doing a lot of upcycling recently when it comes to my tinned fish tans. I love tinned fish. Fun fact. I love it so much. I'm obsessed. To grow microgreens or to use your mushroom packets to, I'm actually growing cat grass right now for my cats so they can chew on it because I heard it's good for their digestion. Uh, or even just taking our green onions. We're a big onion household here, and just placing that in water to see how it regrows and continues to give you more green onions down the line to just save you another dollar here or there. Get a little bit more of that instant gratification too of growing something. But I'm just fascinated when it comes to gardening and seeing how everything just starts off in its own way and then again expands to be something so unique.
That's so, I love that. I genuinely don't know a ton of people who garden other than like my aunt and her kids. They garden. But for the most part, like I don't know a ton of people who garden, but like that's so, it genuinely makes sense because at the end of the day, one plant costs as much as like probably a bag of
Yeah,
whatever you're getting.
of seeds. And my goal as well to like make some extra income. Again, college student here trying to supplement what I
Mhm.
do and cut down my grocery expenses too. Is that I have like 80 cells of plants started right now. So I'll use maybe two of each variety that I'm growing, and then the rest will hopefully we'll throw on a marketplace and see who wants to snatch them up. I'm on Facebook Marketplace girly.
Me too. Probably for different reasons. I like to find the most horrific listings I can and then send them to my friends because I think they're funny.
Oh, I love doing that. And one of my favorite tricks too, sound criminal. One of my favorite tricks too, when it comes to marketplace is when I'm lowballing people. If they don't accept it, I'll just send it to my friends. They all lowball them throughout the day, and then I'll come back to it and like, hey, would you be open to the offer? And they're like, yeah,
That's smart. That's smart. But
yeah.
we
No,
are
everyone use it at the same
approaching,
time.
yes, we are approaching time because I do try to keep these at an hour roughly. I say that as if I've done multiple of these. This is our second one. Um, it's the
We
first
set
one,
a
the live
precedence, it's
stream.
fine.
Yeah, it's the first one, the live stream actually worked. That's no one needs to know that. Um, but here's a little update on how mine is.
Pretty. I
Oh my
did.
gosh. Ours reflect the color palettes we were talking about earlier. That's crazy.
It's like we like these colors a lot, so it
Oh,
reflected our flowers.
it's almost like they're like our personal branding or something. I don't
It's
know.
like it's adding up. It makes sense.
Oh my gosh. Um, but with that being said, let's go ahead and do like a closing statement. Do you have anything like, coming up that you want to plug? Do you want to plug your platforms that like rather than just being like spread out throughout the entire interview, do you want to do a quick little plug here?
Ooh, okay. I'll probably say the easiest plug for me to see everything I'm involved in because, like many of the other pageant girlies, I keep busy, I keep moving, and happily so. Would be my personal Instagram, Ellie Frisk. That's ELIFRISK. Um, and from there, my personal platform when it comes to cooking and just food education will be connected there. Of course, my Sooner State Collegiate America page will be connected as well. So you can follow all the cool things I'm doing on there, leading to nationals. But I gotta say, the most exciting thing I'm like so ready to share is a little free library that I've been building with my sister for my community because we noticed there was quite a disparity of access within the South what am I trying to say? The south, like west part of our city. So I do want to bring more access there and especially help highlight and celebrate some of the talents that we have within pageantry because so many of our girls are already authors. I would love to bring their books some more recognition into our multicultural communities too. And really, from there, I'm just gonna be sharing my preparations and my dilly-dallying leading up to nationals.
Yay! Thank you so much for joining us today, Ellie.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun and I can't wait to finish this later.
Yay. You should like post it on your story and tag me when you do.
I think I should. I will actually.
Perfect. Okay. Bye.